So would it be snaps? Would it be O-rings? Hey, how about vice grips? Ready running guns? Time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Truck talking crankbait stuff. Stuff. As in stuff. How many of you guys, when you throw a crankbait, now this is referring strictly to crankbaits. I ain't talking about top waters or jerk baits or minnow plugs or anything like that. I'm just talking about crankbaits. How many of you guys still use the O-ring that comes on that bait to tie to? Or how many of you guys have done the swap out and changed all your O-rings to the oval rings? You know, that was big back when Lucky Craft first hit the market, late 90s, early 2000s. Man, that O-ring was just like, what? That was like the best thing since sliced bread, man. Or how many of you opt out and just go to a snap? There's all kinds of snaps on the market. I pretty much tried them all, but I'll be honest with you, just give me the old duo lock. Just the old style duo lock snap in a black color. I usually use about a size 1, sometimes size 2. I don't get complicated with it. Or how many of you guys tie a loop knot? I know some guys do that. I've done it. I think the question comes down to, when you hit the water, how many cranking combos do you have on the boat with you? Now, some of you guys have kayaks. Actually, a lot of you guys have kayaks or canoes or john boats. So you really can't carry 10, 12, 15 rods with you. So you have like a favorite combo that you throw crankbaits on. Okay, so if you have a favorite combo, how many of you use a snap? That way you're not constantly retying, you're just swapping out the bait. Now some of you guys that might have 2 or 3 combos laying on the deck just for cranking, probably use O-rings. Because if you're going to switch crankbait, you just grab another rod. Makes sense. I was like that too. When I used to fish tournaments, I had about 2 or 3 different crankbait combos on the deck with different kind of baits. But somebody brought that up the other day, and I was kind of like, huh, that's a deep subject for a shallow mind. So yeah, you know, using snaps is not a bad thing at all. The advantage that you have to a snap, to me personally, the main advantage to a snap is not so much that you're being able to switch baits out quick, but you're also not wasting a lot of line. You know, you go to tie, especially with today's reels that don't have the line capacity that we used to have. You go a day and you switch out 10 to 15 crankbaits. Let's say you're using a Palomar knot. You're going to notice that you're going to have some line missing off that spool. I mean, you figure on average, most guys will use 1 to 2 foot of line on the Palomar. I know a lot of you guys are saying, holy cow, you know, I don't use that much. I try to use the least amount of tag that I can get my hands on, so I'm not wasting so much line. If line is a situation to you, then I would suggest just using a tri-lane knot or a double loop clinch, as it is also called. That way you can control your tag. That's not a bad knot to tie. Neither is a San Diego jam. I've got a knot video that I did a couple of years ago that you can look up on my channel, where I explain knots a little better. I actually show you how to tie them. But yeah, me personally, I have one rod that I take with me whenever I'm throwing a crankbait or top water. It's usually the same rod that I have my line balanced out for both of them, and I just use a snap. But that's me. One thing I do suggest, I would not use a snap on a split ring and attach the bait that way. One, it creates a bit of line or a bit of water pressure. Having all that go through the water before it even reaches your crankbait, it will hamper the crankbait. It'll hamper the action. It'll hamper the running depth. So don't attach a snap to a split ring. Yeah, most guys that I've talked to pretty much have one favorite crankbait rod. And it kind of goes half and half. Some tied to the O-ring, some tied to a snap. I just think it's interesting how many people use snaps. And you got the die-hard guys that still, tie right to a split ring. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like I said, there's two disadvantages to a split ring. One is now you got to tie another knot. Or number two, you're also wasting line. You have to re-spool within a couple of months. Those are only two drawbacks to me. Other than that, I have no issues with split rings. Just make sure if you're going to use a split ring that you tie on the double part of the split ring. Don't tie between the connectors. If you do, that's going to fray your knot before you can blink an eye. And you got to hook that fish of a lifetime, snap. So don't do that. I actually will take the connection links between the two of them, and they're sitting at a 90-degree angle to the bait. You're tying up here, your bait's down here, that connector link's right here in the middle. It's exactly where you want that to be. That way it's not here in the bait, getting the bait bound up, and it's not up here getting in your knot. You want it 90 degrees either side to where you tie in the bait, okay? That's very important. I mean, that to me is I get baits off eBay and somebody let the knot tied and it's always in between the connector link right there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised the person never lost this bait. Because it's always slid on one side or the other. And I can almost take a pair of pliers and break that knot off. That's not good. Of course, it could also be cheap line. But I thought I'd throw that out there to you guys. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably don't even think about how important that is between a split ring or a snap. And like I said, the only disadvantage to tying to a split ring is your waistline, and now you got to tie another knot. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with a split ring. Period. I just kind of like a snap because it's a little quicker. Sometimes I get a hold of a snap, I can use a pair of pliers to open it. Other than that, I don't mind. Just don't get a big gaudy snap. And guys, don't get a split ring or don't get a snap swivel. Don't use those. That really will kill the action of your bait. Not only that, it adds a lot of weight to the front of it too. That's something you have to keep in mind. A snap that you attach to a swivel, you just added even more weight to the front of that bill, and it's going to hamper that bait. But what do you guys think? So until next time, remember, new techniques are trendy, but bass never change. May the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.